All right, it's showing me that we are live. I'm just checking one other spot to make sure that that is the case. Terrific. Looks like we're live. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. We've survived another week of quarantine and COVID-19. I am Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And if this is your first time on our page, then you'll need to binge watch all the videos we have all the way back into March. We have experts that are touching on different skills you need for your business, all the way to our elected officials sharing what they're doing in wake of COVID and how they're handling this current situation that we're in. I'm excited to have with us our three Jefferson County Commissioners, Commissioner Leslie Dahlkemper, Casey Ty, and Commissioner Libby Szabo, to share Jeffco, or Jefferson County's update on COVID-19. So we have a nice presentation that's planned out. I won't eat up too much of the time right now with intros, but please be sure to comment on this video if you have questions, if you have thoughts, or if you just want to show your thanks and appreciation for the commissioners hopping on and taking their time. So without further ado, I'll turn this over to Commissioner Dahlkemper to get us kicked off and going.
Great, Juliette. Thank you so much. Our huge thanks to Juliette and the Westminster Chamber of Commerce for hosting today's call, and thanks to all of you for joining us as well. We know that this has been a hard time for all of us. We're missing our family, our friends, and even just our daily routines. But we know that it's been especially difficult for businesses. You've made difficult decisions to let employees go. Some of you are afraid of losing your business altogether. And we know that we will come back. And we know that many of you are doing extraordinary work right now to keep businesses open. I did hear a sobering statistic yesterday. 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment since the pandemic was declared a national emergency. And that has wiped out all of the employment gains made over the last decade in just the last 4 weeks. We know we'll come back. We are creative. We're entrepreneurial. We do not give up. And our lives will look very different after this. There's no question. But we know that small businesses are also our biggest economic driver. And we want to do everything we can to support your success. A special shout out to Juliette and the West Chamber. You have done an incredible job helping businesses navigate this new landscape, from applying for SBA and PPA loans to also launching creative campaigns like Takeout Takeover. So we really appreciate the work that you're doing. Our Board of County Commissioners are working hand in hand with you. We participate regularly in calls with our area chambers. We even hosted a call with Congressman Perlmutter and the chamber presidents. And we advocate regularly for businesses and chambers when we have the opportunity to be on calls with our congressional delegation and with our governor. And we're eager to share more with you about the business and workforce outlook and how the county can help you. So why don't we go ahead to the next slide and we'll jump into some of those points. These charts were provided to us by Jeffco Workforce Data Analysis analyst Kyle Albright. These numbers show the new registrants with the workforce centers through April 15th. In other words, anyone who applies for unemployment insurance is also required to register with our workforce center and workforce centers across the state. The numbers that you're seeing there are the numbers of unemployed individuals who have filed. It's important to point out that from February to March, Jeffco saw the single largest percentage increase in the state. That's that slide on the right. The chart on the left shows the statewide figures and an increase of new registrants of about 172% since March 1st. Looking at Jefferson County alone, the chart on the right, the increase in new registrants to our workforce center is almost 350%, 349% to be precise, between March 1st and April 15th. We'll move on to the next slide. So as we look at the number of initial unemployment claims, we're seeing that those claims are hitting an historic high during the last week of March. But there is good news. And the positive news to report is that many of the laid off individuals contacting the Jeffco Business and Workforce Center are expecting to return to their previous employer. Also, we're seeing some new jobs created as a result of COVID-19. One large manufacturer is now hiring screeners to screen employees before entering the building for work. Another interesting trend that we've heard from IT companies is that they're holding off on hiring junior developers and are prioritizing experienced applicants. This is really good news for our older workers with more experience who in the past were overlooked as, quote, too expensive. They bring a lot of experience and drive to those positions. We wanted to share one other critical piece of information related to unemployment insurance. The CARES Act provides for two different components of unemployment insurance: pandemic emergency unemployment compensation, which is for groups typically not eligible for unemployment insurance. So these are folks who are gig workers, they're self-employed, and this expanded eligibility to more workers is critical, but the amounts for each claimant will still be based on prior income. This benefit will expire at the end of 2020 for those still not working at that point. Now, the federal pandemic unemployment compensation is a flat amount of $600. That's for all unemployment applicants that are applying due to the pandemic. The $600 will be applied on top of the base benefit each claimant receives. Applicants don't need to do anything to receive this extra amount of dollars. It will be automatic. It's retroactive March 29th, and it's set to expire July 25th for those who are still collecting unemployment at the time. The Colorado Department of Labor and Employment says it's programming its system to begin accepting claims for workers who are eligible for benefits related to the CARES Act as well. And we also wanted to mention to you, many of you know already, that the SBA has exhausted funds for both loan programs, and we're hoping Congress allocates additional dollars. But until then, they have stopped taking new applications, and they are currently processing applications that have been submitted on a first come, first served basis. And with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Tai for our next slide.
Thank you, Commissioner Del Camper. You know, I'm learning all sorts of new platforms. I used GoToMeetings and WebEx and Zoom and now Facebook Live. So we're learning something through this. The next slide here, you know, I first saw this slide, I thought it was upside down. But this is job postings from a percentage of how much they've gone down over the last several weeks. This kind of ties to what Commissioner Del Camper was talking about, the fact that unemployment is going up and businesses, as they're in this holding pattern, they just aren't advertising for very many new positions. We're hoping this changes soon as we go back into opening up again. And Commissioner Szabo is going to talk about some challenges related to opening up the business again. But anyway, right now it is a concern. We don't see a lot of new job postings. If you go on to the next slide, you'll see, though, that there are some companies that are hiring, and it kind of reflects that new economy that we're seeing maybe as a result of this COVID. And it's actually some stuff that's been going on for a while. Delivery services like Amazon are seeing increase in hiring. We're seeing some of the businesses that were considered essential. They've been hiring, like Home Depot, and we've also seen some of our grocery stores hiring. But also some medical companies such as Terumo BCT are hiring, and of course Enreal with the changes in delivery of energy are hiring. So I think over time we're going to see a lot of businesses shift, and hopefully we can figure out a way to make sure we're training employees to meet what the changes that the COVID-19 are bringing to our economy. Next slide. So we want to make sure that we are providing information to our workforce and to businesses, and we can match employee skills to what businesses need. We have weekly panels on Fridays where experts discuss business challenges and maybe provide some ideas on how they can shift to this new economy. And we also discuss financial resource guidance. I know everyone's concerned about the 3P program running out of money. Hopefully that will get an influx of new money, but there are certainly local governments are also trying to figure out ways to help businesses during this difficult time. You can also go to our Business Resource Center and to the Jeffco EDC to talk about assistance and ideas and counseling to find out what you can do to keep your business going during this difficult time. We have a newsletter. Naveen Laughlin has a newsletter. Her number is 720-878-3600. 7637. Again, it's 720-878-7637. Naveen is trying to help businesses and individuals match with what the businesses need with what employee skills there are. There's also counseling for businesses to find out what resources are available. And now Commissioner Zabel is going to talk about getting back to work and some things we can do to slow the spread.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Ty and Commissioner Dahlkemper and Juliet. Thank you for providing this forum. This is such a vital role in how our communities really work and act and integrate together. And everybody, I think, is ready to go. They just need to be loosed. And what are the rules to do that? So we are talking at least 2-3 times a week with Dr. Johnson. He is the kind of the governing authority on where we go here in how do we act when we go back to work. We were on a call with the governor yesterday, and he kept saying on the 26th, when the order is over, on the 27th, we are going to have new rules. I tried to pin him down on that to say, is that what we're going to do? Are we going to create another order, another 2 weeks, whatever? What are we going to do? But he seemed rather confident, so I hope he is. I hope by the 26th, we've not only flattened out the curve for the virus, but we've also been in a downturn for a week or two in who's catching the virus. And that is just kind of a wait and see. But there are guidelines that Dr. Johnson is using to decide when we go back to work and how we go back to work. And Commissioner Dahlkemper and Commissioner Ty are constantly talking to him about that, and what we see should be essential. So those, as you can see, are, I don't need to read them to you. There are a lot of just what we've been doing in the last month since we've been out of work and at home. Wash your hands, social distance, cover your mouth type of things, stay 6 feet away from each other. It's those type of things that is going to get us back well and safe to work. So what we need to do at this point is, there's been so many businesses deemed essential, but I know to each one of you and to your families, your business is deemed essential. And we feel that way in Jeffco. Now, there are some businesses that can more easily go back to work and use those simple protocols where you're 6 feet away. Maybe you split shifts or things like that, so you're not in touch with so many people at one time. There are a lot of businesses, and I think we really need to get on board with those businesses that can practice those protocols that have been proven by King Soopers. You order your groceries and they bring them out. By the liquor stores, you order your wine or beer or whatever you like, and they bring it out to your car. There's a lot of businesses in Jefferson County that can operate like this, and I say that's the first step we take in letting them do that, but abiding by that extreme social distancing, online only, not having a lot of people in the area at one time. I think, I would really like to start that sooner than later, because it's been proven like by those other businesses that have been doing it for so long. So the next slide, Juliet.
Yes, ma'am.
So in order to turn back to work, we have through the job fair, and Naveen can help you with that. Casey gave you her number, and you can just look on the Jeffco website, jeffco.us, and find all of these. We are on the returning to work slide. We are having virtual job fairs, and it's an opportunity to connect businesses with job seekers. A lot of us will go back to work where we were. You will have a job when you get back once those companies start opening up. But there are some jobs that have been done away with. And some layoffs that will not be able to come back because of financial reasons. So look for those online job fairs. Who knows? You might find a whole new opportunity you never thought you would be in. Virtual candidate screening, virtual one-on-one meetings with screened candidates. So, we've been kind of doing job shopping online for years now. It's kind of the new way. You don't go and interview every person in front of each other. You put your resume online. We're going to do more and more of that, but virtual. Subsidized internship, workforce grants who pay intern wages. If there is something you've always wanted to do, and now maybe's the time to change your occupation or look at new things or other companies in your own sphere. Apprenticeship programs. They offer all kinds of things. But you know what, Jeffco? It's time soon we get back to work, because it's so important to our well-being, whether it's our mental health or our physical health, or just the health of being part of a community and part of what makes Jeffco strong. So I know we're working really hard for you all to get back, and we just want to say we wish you safe wellness, and thank you for all you do for Jefferson County. And I can't wait till we can be in person again. I know all the commissioners really miss being together with our staff and with everybody, but we also miss being at events with you all. And one day soon, I'm hoping we can do that. So thank you for the opportunity, Juliet. This is a great forum. We're proud of what you're doing for not only Westminster, but Greater Jefferson County. So I'm going to kick it back to you.
All right. Well, you guys just nailed that presentation very succinctly and efficiently. We have so many people that are tuned into our video. Several of our counselors, Counselor DeMont, Seymour. We also have a few different board members. Thanks, Peter and Wayne, for commenting. I have a lot of comments and some questions. So I will pull up a few of them and kind of loop Naveen in as necessary as well. Here we have one of our board members that's just kind of sharing, thank you for the great information that you guys have shared today. They found value in that. We have another individual that's tuned in, and his question's more on unemployment. So it says some employers are having trouble getting through to the unemployment office to get questions answered. Is there another resource to get questions answered more easily?
I think this might be a good one, but I can say in response to Brian, the commissioners, all of the commissioners are on a bi-weekly call with the heads of the state agencies, and they too have acknowledged the challenge that they're facing. They also brought on additional staff to help address some of those calls that are coming in. Naveen, you may have some additional resources, though, that perhaps people can turn to.
Right, and Leslie, you're right. They are packed.
Yeah.
Packed.
They are. That's right.
There is excuse me, good morning. There's a webinar on Monday evening. I'm going to try to find the information as we speak, that where you can have an opportunity to talk directly with the unemployment office. Mm-hmm. And so I'll find that information and share that with you in a minute.
Great. That would be terrific. And I know we went ahead and posted as well the website to jeffco.us/the workforce business-workforce-center for additional information. I'm sure that'll be there, and we'll also cross-promote it through the chamber as well on our updates page. So thank you for that comment. We have another comment that's from Counselor Seymour. This is a question that's related to hospitals. So according to CDPHE, there are 1,257 plus or minus beds being used to treat COVID-19 statewide. This shows a complete underutilization of the healthcare system. Any comments that we can add to this, or maybe relevant facts?
Yeah, I think part of this demonstrates the hard work that we're all doing to flatten the curve. from social distancing to wearing cloth face masks to making sure that we're staying at home, all those guidelines that Commissioner Szabo touched on a little bit earlier, we work regularly with Dr. Mark Johnson, who heads Jeffco Public Health. And what we're learning from him is that the rate of the cases has slowed down. So we would see those cases of COVID-19 in Jefferson County doubling every day and a half. Now it's slowing down to every 6 days. That's good. That's a good sign. So we're moving in the right direction. I believe, and Commissioner Szabo and Ty will correct me if I'm wrong, that Dr. Johnson has also shared with us that in talking with both St. Anthony's and Lutheran, they have capacity up to 200 beds to help individuals with more severe cases of COVID-19, and they can double those 200 beds up to 400 beds. Right. So keep working on it, Jeffco. Your hard work is definitely making a difference in flattening the curve. Is there any, Commissioners Ty and Szabo, is there anything you'd add to that or any other thoughts?
No, I know we were on a phone with Jeffco EDC yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. I'm losing my days. I don't know. This week. Maybe it was Wednesday. And we had some check-ins from St. Anthony's and Lutheran, and they are not at full capacity there. And I don't know, we don't work there or know all the ins and outs, but I'm hoping that's because there are not as many people needing to be hospitalized. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing, that they are being cared for in their homes and kind of social distancing. Because, when something like this is going on, it's best that you don't end up at a hospital where there are other infections. So we know that, I don't know if they're underutilized or if they just are not needed at this point.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. There's no question this has been a success story.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I agree. Jeffco does it well.
That's right.
I thought some of those facts that you all shared initially were pretty astonishing, especially related to unemployment and Jefferson County being one of those that are at the top, if not the topmost that have filed in there, which is a little bit scary. But I also want to comment on the positive side. There are still jobs that are still opening up. And I know the Workforce Center has been working to navigate and figure out which businesses those are. They actively post that information. We've worked a little bit more recently, I think, with getting our own virtual job fairs set up and have made contact with some of those companies that are hiring. And I think one of the really beneficial things is for anyone that's tuned into this is to really subscribe to the email newsletters that come from our county. But also, if you don't necessarily want all those emails, make sure that you read the things that we send out. 9 times out of 10, we're getting information from our county partners and we're resharing it so that you can see that and aren't spending time trying to search as much as possible. I also want to recognize and thank Mayor Pro Tem Seitz for tuning in on this webinar. And we have several small business owners that are on here, just so you all are aware. Eric Tujillo, his business is in South Westminster, Andrew Ridley, and several others. So I guess before I wrap this up, are there additional comments? We still have a little bit of time left, and I'll see if anybody else has questions. If you have questions and have not had a chance to already do so, please comment them in the comment section of this website or this live stream, and let us know what your comment is or what your questions, so we can have our commissioners share some feedback in real time for you. But before we get wrapped up, was there anything that you all wanted to help share additionally outside of the PowerPoint presentation that we have that we should be mindful of?
Yeah, thank you, Juliet. I would love to just tell everybody that Wednesday is coming up, Wednesday, the 22nd. We are going to have a Jeffco telephone town hall, a conversation with your Jefferson County commissioners around some of these things. And we are going to have Dr. Johnson on it. The sheriff will be on it, other people. So you are going to be allowed to also ask questions there. Maybe about other things that aren't necessarily business related or just things that you're curious about. So tune into that. It'll be from 5:15 to 6:45. I don't know. Is that right?
5:45. Yeah, close. Right on. It's actually 5:45, starting at 5:45 to 6:45. Here's the dial-in number for you: 855-695-3486. And we'll be focusing on business-related issues. We'll have an update on Jeffco's stay-at-home order. I know many of you may be interested in that. And then we're also going to touch on how we can help the more vulnerable in our community who are also struggling as well. And as Commissioner Szabo said, any questions that you have. One other bright spot I'd just like to share. Many of us were on a call earlier that featured futurist Thomas Fry, and he was talking about one of the positives coming out of all of this is that we will likely see the biggest transition that we've seen in terms of jobs in history as people have more time to really think and reflect on what kinds of careers or work brings meaning to their lives. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds, and also what new businesses and innovation will come out of this time.
Yeah. It's going to be
Excellent.
great when we all get out of it, because I know you all in Jeffco, you guys are tough and you're strong. And when the going gets tough, Jeffco gets going. And I'm looking forward to seeing the outcomes for you all and helping you through.
Thank you. And Kathy, thank you for jotting down the phone number. We've displayed it on the screen for that broadcast that's next Wednesday. I know we referenced the timing that's on there. You can jump on early. We all know that we're running into technical problems, so it's never too early to get on and make sure that it actually works.
We barely made it.
Yes. And then we also have we have a small business owner that's here on our Jeffco side as well, sharing thank you for the message and for taking time to be hosting our presentation here today. So I do want to acknowledge and appreciate all of our commissioners for taking the time to be on this call with us. One of the first things that we did as a chamber was really that business resource support. We launched the website, and then we worked with key partners in our community to rapidly respond to the needs of businesses. Jefferson County was one of those. Our commissioners hopped on a phone call. I think that it was within that first week, really, to hear what feedback we had from our individual communities, challenges that we were facing, and how they can be so supportive. And I think that speaks volumes when they're so in touch with the community members and who they're serving. I want to again applaud you guys for being out there, being active and accessible to everybody, so that you're making sure that we're all cohesively working together on a solution. This PowerPoint, if our commissioners are okay with it, will be made available later, so anyone can access some of the data points that are on here. If you have comments or questions that you didn't get to ask or were hesitant on asking, you can still do so by messaging us later or commenting on this video. If you watch this video as a replay, be sure that you still comment or email us at info@westminsterchamber.biz, and we'll be sure to try and get your questions and comments addressed by our commissioners. I know they're always, they're actively answering and actively being a participant in our community. So thank you again for all taking the time this morning to hop on. I know you're jumping from one call to the next, from one tech platform to another one, and we're just, we're adapting. And I think it's a terrific thing that's coming out of all of this is how innovative we've all become and agile. So I hope that everybody stays safe, healthy, and has a terrific weekend.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Bye.